when you know love, you know how to love yourself first, which is why you also know that life partners will have you being you more and more and more. And you also get heart to heart conversations. So they know the true tantric journey and the true belief journey and frequencies. None of the yucky stuff. Here is Sadhguru for us. If you think you can half heartedly love someone, there is no love. It is either 100% or zero, and that's for our fully secure community. It means that you invest all of you with an open heart because you know of healthy self worth. So your 1 year old is independent, you are independent, and so you're a conscious lover who knows about the basics and how beautiful it is that in the vastness of the cosmos, everything is going perfect, but one nasty little thing and thought in the mind of those who are not truly loving just yet, and there's a bad day. Oh no, that is lack of perspective. It's also called people who don't want to use mindfulness, mindsight, or mindset practices. Okay? Those who do, we know this. A love affair need not be with any particular person. Nope. You could have a great love affair with life itself, which is why we know all about, again, tantric and belief. It's really fun. And what is also fun is knowing of life partners who know this, that love is a process of inclusion. Once I include you as a part of me, I will be to you just the way I am to myself. And so, unconditionally loving, I have flaws, you have flaws. I have integrity, you have integrity, and we're pachas. We don't do the lying business. We don't do the business of no emotions and what all those who first they go to therapy, then they come do love affairs. And that's again love affairs. Here we know for polyamory it's consensual non-monogamy. Monogamy for monogamous individuals and monoamory, they still will have a conversation. It's called, hey, what happened? Do we need to talk? What's the deal? Are we unhappy? Is something going on? What do we want to do in order to see that we're happy together? Okay, so there's no shaming, blaming, faulting, revenging. How dare you? I forgave you. Holding over, the head of somebody. So all that chit chat that happens in a rigid, chaotic, perfectionistic, and unforgiving, harsh, adaptive child pattern of behavior that needs a Terry real so they can learn to love themselves first and then become actually loving human beings. Okay, so once you believe in you, you will have the frequency that supports your sense of self worth and your own gifts and talents. And then you will also have a strong connection with. So, for those of you who are spiritual, source, God, essence of love and life. For those of you who are secular, it's basically integration of the brain. So, it's consciousness and the self of you. So, with that, you are consistently open to change because when you're in the mindfulness, the three pillars of the mind, when you're in your present, and so the focused attention, I'm breathing, then you're aware. Up, maximum uncertainty, breathing still, kind intention or neutrality, come on in, regulating my nervous system as we speak. I am contemplating. I don't have laundry Zen master. I have tantric. Look, what is this? Helps me to unlock hidden knowledge and wisdom that I intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through my essential experiences with myself and maybe with another if I decide to physically get into anything. They have to have healthy self worth and know how to regulate their nervous system in a restorative embodiment. I don't do the sympathetic nervous system people, even though that's where, remember, I use words my way, but what I'm trying to get at is a person who knows how to be in the love of their hormone, oxytocin gene. So the oxytocin gene hormone is on when you have a healthy sense of self worth because you're securely attached. So you say, I'm me, Maria, I'm me. That's it. I don't change. It's because you're consistently changing because you're now consistently an expanding piece of consciousness. So that's integration of the brain. Okay, so we don't feel change because our hearts are always open. Our mouths work with each other because we talk. And that's because we say, I love, accept, and respect you just the way you are. And I will definitely tell you if any of your behaviors bother me. I won't hold it back at all. I don't filter my mouth. And so that is why we will treat others the way we treat ourselves. Of course, I have flaws. I treat my 1 year old with softness. So your mood is not helping my 1 year old. So that's why I'm letting you know that mood isn't going to be good here. Your humbug, the bad day, yeah, put it in perspective. Let's regulate the nervous system. Let's process that emotion with your mindful brain. It's easy once you decide to make it easy because you deal with awareness, uncertainty, unexpected, unwanted from your heart and while going with the flow. Okay? You choose to put into practice the resiliency of today I stubbed my toe, tomorrow I'll stub my toe. We're not going to be the Zen master who talks about emotions as laundry. Not at IHP. I talk to you about emotions as emotions. That's also why life partners are only the ones who know how to tell us who they are from the heart, how they are, and again, relationships, pretty straightforward. So when you meet a true life partner, it's a person who knows how to be their self. Then they also have you have fun to be yourself, and you get to have a heart connection, which is really fun. So heart connections are when people bring out more of you as you're hanging out, okay? Which is also why courtship, it happens when a person is courting you. Anybody remember being an adolescent? The good times, excuse me, let me correct myself. So the good times would be for those of us who decided we're not going to follow the unkind, untrusting, and very, very irresponsible, dramatic adolescence. I learned from 11 to 14. By the time I'm 15, I said, okay, none of you are reliable. You're all moody, and you're all definitely liars because you all have an ego self. You keep saying you don't, but I know you do. However, it's okay. I've understood, and I got my teenage boyfriend, and I got my herd, and I'm happy. And so my teenage years, I had my herd, and I was happy as can be. Now they did lie, but see, lying is something that I realized is not about bad behavior. It's actively about a child who doesn't grow up. You see what I'm saying? So they need therapy and Terrio first, and then they can come on over. And I'm actively sharing with you, with all respect to all my loved ones. I was a teenager too. I just chose not to lie because I wasn't afraid of being Maria, which is why I didn't break up with my boyfriend. And also, I actively knew it was not a big deal because who doesn't remember learning from the grown-ups that teenagers are not grown-ups yet? So just saying, okay? But what I did know was also this sickness and in health, rich and poor, right? Till death does part. So I wasn't polyamory yet. I was monogamous and monoamorous because I was just growing up, not because I have to love one person actively. I don't. I love all people. And now I get to love more than one person as more than just a friend. It's because you know when somebody's more than just a friend. Like you also know when somebody is not more than just a friend and they want to be more than just a friend, and you're like, no, you're not more than just a friend to me. Okay, so again, relationships, love, life partners. It's when you can be you and when you have an open heart. And we all know what it's like to be told no. I know what it's like. The one, moving beyond the concept of the one. We had a series of episodes on that one for my audio version of IHP. And the people who make it sound like they think I'm traumatized, I know who they are. And I actively feel very much this way. I'm not traumatized because I have what is called tears, because my body doesn't experience emotions with my temporal junction. Actively, I know how to use my prefrontal cortex. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to teach and guide on one-to-one mentorship with the inner growth mindset. I would not be able to tell you how it feels inside to be gooey, ooey, ooey, and how it feels when people keep saying there's toxic, positive people. I know of who they are. There's also actively happy people in life. That's all. Okay, so mindfulness, mindset practices are for people who want to be in their blissfulness, not for people who want to pretend. People want to pretend, I see where they're at. And then the ones who don't understand why meditation and mindfulness is not good for some people yet, it's because they don't know that it can be good for all people. It's when you can contain what comes up in awareness. So when maximum uncertainty is here, people who have a really bad time with it, if they get the right person, the person will say, okay, I want you to be aware that there's a person named Peter Levine, and he shares how once your body can contain emotions and sensations, that's good. That means your brain, your mind can now officially work with what's coming up. Shut up the left mode from the story and notice that what's coming up is your core self, the solo self, the narrative, and relational. Shut the mouth up for a minute and allow yourself to just let what comes up. You don't have to explain it, but there is a story to it. It's called your childhood. Okay, so here's why. You will only know consistent love when you are consistently loving yourself first. That's when you'll know consistent people, and that's when you'll know a actual partner. Anyone who doesn't know how to do till death do us part, sickness and in health, richer and poorer, doesn't know monoamory or polyamory. My point about this sentence is that you walk a walk and talk a talk when you walk like a Jesus or a Buddha or a Sadhguru or a Daniel Siegel or anyone who has healthy self-worth. Terry Real. People who know how to be functional adults. To me, it's decent human being, but it's more than just that because you actively have bliss inside and out when you are a person who enjoys life and you have a love affair with it. For me, it begins with God and Jesus, with faith. Jesus and God taught me how to love, respect, and accept all of you and myself with differences. Sciences and spirituality, like I bring it to you with spiritual as well, teach me expansion of consciousness and intelligence and how they go hand in hand with compassion and love. Any person who wants to perpetuate shame, they're still working on their shame button. We don't need to shame people. We don't need you to be in a posture of shame. We have laws. We can talk to you like a person, and then we can explain, and we can know that your brain and your mind and your body can be recalibrated to move into your wholeness if you choose so. So to heal from childhood trauma and then to be a person that becomes a functional adult and to have self-compassion and compassion, then know love. So the mystic enlightenment experience of mine, which we're going to talk a little bit about, they got to show me how our love life and all of our relationships and our world keeps moving into the evolution and expansion of. We want to recalibrate some things, yes, but love in and of itself always triumphs. So does life. Love is supporting each other to fly. Love lifts us up when we are down, and it soars the skies with us when we are up. That's one to one and more. And love is always there. And the good therapists out there, they work with people that are holistic and spiritual practitioners and life coaches and all of what we do here because they also involve mindset and mindful practices and mindsight. The ones who don't, they are not educated or they don't believe, perhaps in Stephen Porges, Bezel van der Kolk, and the body part, Pat Ogden, but the ones who understand, like with Peter Levine, how he shares muscles, bones, tissues, that's where trauma charges, trauma is stored, fragments. There's different words that I will use interchangeably. I do not use words like rigid, no, actively. If you're interpreting words, don't. Allow yourself to hear all of what I'm bringing to you. If you start talking, you're already going to lose yourself because I'm actively creating what is a stream of consciousness in this moment as I do my emotional stuff, and then I just use words to fill in the emotion that comes. So I'm a right brainer with my left, not the other way around. And that's because I'm a feminine. And that's because I'm actively a channeler, a mystic, a medium. These are words that don't mean anything except for I have this end of the stick and I get to share with you something that is a true faith and not what you hear out there from people who are still living their unresolved childhood shame, trauma, and they do different things. So I'm not going to get sidetracked again because they keep on coming into the mix because I am very sad to see them continue to use God and Jesus and all of those that shared with me with my catechism love and faith in humanity and more humanity, which is why spirituality, it's all of it comes together because the ones who want to keep us divided, they're not the ones of faith. They're the ones who have a left mode and then they have a shame button and they think they know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't realize their safety behavior's on. And that's because when you have an ego, they are blinded by envy, jealousy, spite. They're blinded by their own rage. They're blinded by their own subjective experience. They're blinded by anger, and anger gives them the idea of certainty, which then has them using generalizations and stereotypes. Their brain is actively dumbed down. They actively are not intelligent. you'll be able to notice it because they will actively not have good argumentation. They will be able to make sentences work for them. We will be able to dismantle those sentences because they are not truths. Truths are not all or nothing. Truths are always in the middle because that's how it works. Grade, not fixed. That's actively why consciousness, it always expands. Change is a consistent part of us. We won't feel change, those of us who are of true faith, because we will not have lost ourselves and we will not be destabilized and disoriented. We know what year it is. It's the year 2024. Sciences and spirituality come together. Come on over for more on mindfulness, mindset, and mindset practices. And again, true love sticks around because it's open hearts talking to each other. Anyone who gives you the silent treatment, I mean, what I can share with you from experiences, I have asked, is this where we're at? Silence. I make sure once the answer is clear, okay, cool. Thanks for the answer. That's it. I don't need anything else because the minute you choose to give me what is consistent silence, your amygdala actively is letting me know you are not interested in us from here. It's not personal. Healthy self-worth, women, men, and theys, we don't take a person's amygdala not being interested in love with us as a indication of my worthiness or not. So it's not personal. It's okay. I can cry about it. I can be mad about it. I can be upset about it. I won't die about it. I actively won't die. Securely attached women, men, and theys don't die because a teenage boyfriend breaks up with you, older boyfriend breaks up with you, or twin flames. They don't stick around, by the way, because they, again, the masculines, we'll get into that. But any masculine, I'm going to wait. I'm going to pause and I'm going to do it in our next episode. So if you want, you can tune back in later, but I don't want to mix it up for any of you who are not into the chit chat of our oversoul and of masculine and feminine. In the meantime, heart to heart conversations. It happens when you have a healthy self-worth, man, woman, or they, because they don't choose to actively not text you back. They don't choose to ghost you. They don't choose to leave you without any answer to what is going on. People who leave you without any answer and then act with inconsistent communication need Terry Real. They need a therapist. They don't need you. You don't need them. It's actively why a healthy self-worth woman, man, or they will not go shaming a person who does not know how to love their self first. There's nothing except for you don't know love, because if you did, you would know what decent, common courtesy means. I'm not even kidding, because yes, if you can't say something nice, you don't say anything at all, but you don't lie and you don't string along someone and you don't leave someone hanging. You don't just out of the blue change your mind and then actively not take it seriously to give an explanation. So I'll use this example. You and I, we make an appointment. Okay, we decide to meet. I am a person who cancels on you last minute, or I'm a no-show. You reach out to find out stuff, right? Okay, so I'm just saying and presenting something very much that can happen to all of us. I can tell you anytime things like this have happened, I will try to see if I can understand what's going on. The way I go about it doesn't matter. I will find out if I'm going to get an answer to my question because I know I have a right to an answer. You've effectively used my time, and I've effectively used your time. Tick tock, but I also am effectively a human being. So the part about knowing how to love oneself first is I will know that I am deserving of communication. I also will know that if you choose not to communicate with me, that it's not because I'm not deserving. This is the part of healthy self-worth women, men, and theys. So I will not be like, oh my God, I did something wrong. I can feel upset about the connection not going the way I wanted. Okay, so that's why there's a whole bunch of things we can say. But again, life partners, they don't do this. Relationships that build into relationships don't do this. My point was, and as we close on out, is this. It is not boring to have healthy self-worth, securely attached people around you as friends, as lovers. Those are the people that know how to love. Anyone who, once you're getting older, I'm 44. I figured this out as I got older, but really it's the attachment and trauma researchers that gave me answers to what, see my face? I am still amazed at how many people have low emotional intelligence and they think they don't. And I don't even call it low. You know what? They don't have any emotional intelligence because they don't even think they have emotions. And yet their emotional child parts rule them. And then they think they know what life is like. And then they go around thinking they can teach other people about manners, which is actively untrue because they don't even know healthy boundaries. I actively know who, without even talking to them, I'm going to be friends with and who I'm not. And that's because I can perceive how your embodied brain is working because I'm Maria, who has a clear slate. And my slate is clear because I know who I am and I know exactly what my parameters of I want people who know healthy self worth because that's how it works as you grow up. And that's called emotional, mental, and physical maturity and mastery. So you come on over if you enjoy being an empowered woman, man, or they, and let's build a community of fun people because it's fun to have inner child adults. We don't take offense. If somebody is not the one, we're going to get over it. And it doesn't matter what you are of my oversoul. If you don't respect me in a way that I know is common courtesy, it's going to not be personal. It's going to be something that I say, I hope and pray that they find healthy self worth at some point or another within their own self, because the way that you love another is the way that you love yourself. So the way that you show me where I am not going to be seen, I'm not going to be given any talks to the, so you're not going to again address something that is very much meaningful because every moment of your life is meaningful. You see, it's not personal. It's every second that you share with somebody else. When your heart is connected, your amygdala is alerted to it. And that's why if your heart is not connected, your amygdala is not alerted to it, I'm not meaningful at all, nor is that moment of life, which most definitely means your life in general. Are you living it mindfully? No, you're not. You actively have a closed heart, you have a closed amygdala, you're not alerted to living a life of meaning or connection beyond the solo self. And in fact, whether secular or spiritual, you're not living a life that is where you're being enriched by it because you're living like a computer. And the computer, even AI, right? They're talking about making it participate or whatever. So this is where I leave you again. Human love narrative, and it's really awesome to be here. And for those of you who want one-to-one mentorship, it's available. Reach out. Masterclass will be a closed number. I'm still devising and designing the content, and I'm trying to set up some digital products to give you some mindfulness and mindsight exercises that come with the inner growth mindset. So maybe more focused on mindfulness than mindsight, but mindsight is included for those of you who have a very optimal relationship with your body. Although I might wait and keep that one a bit to the side and do it when we're together in the spiritual retreat. That one is probably better, I'm thinking. So I will have to evaluate because it's very important. I've noticed a lot of people don't really realize that they don't have an in-depth relationship with their emotional body yet. As long as you cannot handle your 6 basic human emotions, you're not ready for any of this. Not effectively. You're ready to begin it, but the reality is you want to first understand, do you have an inner child adult, or do we have a person who needs first to claim your inner child, become healthy self-worth, become empowered, and then be able to stand up for yourself, because that's what it means to be an inner child adult. It's, I'm Maria. You don't like me, it's okay. You're not going to bruise me. You're not going to hurt my ego, myself. I'm not hurt. My feelings can be sad. I'm not devastated in the way of, oh my God, my life has just been ruined. No, I'm simply going to, again, grieve, process, and then that's it. It's not, it's actively something I thought every person would learn. And then I saw YouTube. And there's all these people who talk to you about mindfulness, mindset, all of the same stuff, but they don't know how to handle emotions. They say it's laundry, like that Zen master. Okay, I am done. Extra sharing, life partners. They're fun to be with. Anyone who is a life partner is going to be fun to be with because they get life and they get love and romance. Oh, and courtship. It's not you talking to me every once in 2 million years. That's not actively at all. No. That is not. And actively, you grow apart from people because if people don't get interested intellectually, they become boring. Emotionally, you don't grow emotionally, you're boring. So, boring to secure attachment are all people who don't know how to consistently expand their consciousness, which means, again, it's not something, it's not a happy thing. I feel for it, but then I see people saying, "Well, boring. Being is fucking boring. They don't want to do mindfulness or journaling because they think that everyone's fucked up." Others just say, "I want to do it. I want life now." Others, they keep on, with magical batons. And others say, "Why are you talking to me about trauma all the time? You're so boring." So, with that being said, we'll be back shortly, a little bit more with our mystic conversation, completely over soul. And again, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you do know anybody who wants self help with secular and/or spiritual, but remember, pseudoscience, spiritual lady. So, I'm a person who will not be just talking about inner growth. I actively integrate my mystic stories. And so get used to the woo woo stuff. I know that those of you who come regularly are. I'm saying it's a part of Maria. So there you go. Hey, Eric, I got a tail. I got a voice. What do you want? I got magical powers. I'm beautiful. There's no evil energy around, by the way, but we'll get to that in the next episode. So be back shortly. Thank you again for stopping by. Have a good one.